Alpen Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Hello everyone, this is Vinita Pawar and today we are going to discuss about secondary activities. So in this lesson we will be first studying about what are secondary activities, manufacturing and its characteristic features. We will be discussing about factors for location of industries, classification of industries, traditional large scale industrial regions, etc. So let us begin with the first slide, definition of secondary activity. So students, you must have studied in the previous chapter, okay, that agriculture, mining, forestry, okay, these are the main bases of primary activity, which are responsible to give a raw material to the secondary activities. So primary activity and secondary activities are interlinked to one another. So what happens is that once we have a raw material in hand, a kind of a transformation is required and this transformation occurs in secondary activities. Now understand it this way, that if we have a raw cotton in hand, okay, then this raw cotton will not be that useful. But if it is transformed into a thread, a yarn and finally a cloth material, then it will be much more useful. Similarly, if we have a raw iron, okay, obtained from mine or raw mineral obtained from mine, then that mineral will not be that useful, but if it is converted or transformed into iron or a steel, okay, then it is much more useful. It can be useful in infrastructural purposes, it can be useful in automobile industries, etc. So the whole idea is to make the thing much more viable in the market. So as I have told you, a kind of transformation is required and this transformation results into a value addition, okay. Same example again, cotton, raw cotton is not that pricey or costly, but when it is converted into a cloth material, then it is much costly, isn't it? So this transformation is there that comes in this secondary activity. So what is the definition of secondary activity now? Secondary activities are those activities where raw material is transformed into the finished goods, okay. Then there is a word called as manufacturing. So what is this manufacturing? Now manufacturing is a process or it is that sector of economy which transforms raw material into finished goods. When I say manufacturing, it may be primitive in nature or it may use modern methods of production. So what are the processes involved in this? It may be stamping of iron and steel or metal, or large scale power is used, okay. Assembly line workers are working, okay. So these are the different processes which are involved in manufacturing. This manufacturing has certain characteristic features. So let us see which are these characteristic features. First, it's specialization of skills or method of production. Now what does we mean when we say specialization of skills? Factory produces only those items which are made to order. So when a large scale manufacturing is established, bulk of items are created, okay. So specialization of labors, standardization of commodities comes into picture because anybody cannot be a part of that unit. So some kind of trainings are required, some kind of skills a person has to have, okay. Say for example, specialization always helps the person to focus on his particular activity of production. Normally we have, you must have seen doctors who normally are the specialists, we call them as a specialist. If we have a heart specialist, then he is a person who performs the heart surgery, or we have laborers who work in a assembly line in a car manufacturing. So often we look at these people as the experts or the specialists who are very good in performing their task, or they are very good in their own field, isn't it? So why we call them as a specialist? Because they are specialized, they have certain they are trained, okay, they have certain skills. Same way like doctors and laborers, we have specialization of production techniques in secondary activities or in industries where trainees are trained to perform certain activities. So that is called as specialization of skills. Next factor is mechanization. So when we say mechanization, what comes into picture is automation and use of machineries. So with large scale manufacturing, lot of complex machineries are involved, money is incurred. So bureaucracy, executive workload becomes very important as a part of modern large scale manufacturing. So, as I have told you before, complex machineries are used, factories with computer control systems are there, new machineries are implemented, okay. Like for example, a fine example can be of a chips factory, okay. So, if we have a chips making factory which is very local in nature, or a household small manufacturing unit, then all the activities starting from washing of the potatoes, chopping, frying, and even packaging of those chips into packets will be done manually with the help of laborers, if it is a small household industries. But if same factory is considered as a large scale manufacturing, then automation will be there, new instruments, apparatus will be used, machineries will be used. So all the activities starting from as I have said, washing of the potatoes, frying, packaging, everything will be done by the automatic machines, okay. So mechanization is nothing but use of machineries. So that is the second factor of manufacturing. Let us go to the third factor. Third factor is organizational structure and stratification. Organizational structure or stratification talks about extreme specialization of labor to finish the work at a faster speed with good quality. So always organizational stratification helps the industry to assign the hierarchies, okay. What I have said, organizational structure help the industries to assign the hierarchies that will define roles and responsibilities of the worker. So it is like a plan that outlines who is responsible for what in the industry. A fine example will be of a car manufacturing, okay. So if we have a car manufacturing industry, there will be a group of scholars or expert who will design the car first. Then there will be a separate unit where car seats will be manufactured, then windows, doors will be manufactured, engines will be manufactured, okay. And then at the end there will be one unit where all these parts which are made earlier will be assembled together, and what is the final output? Car, okay. But the work does not stop here. Once the car is ready, it has to go for painting, then and at the final stage, whether this car which is manufactured is working or not, that will be tested. So testings will be done. So in a nutshell, what I mean to say here is that there are separate units which are specialized to do their own work in their particular respective field, okay. So a person from one unit will not interfere with the person or with the work from other units. So, there are stratifications, there are multi-level systems. Okay. So, that is something about organizational structure and stratification. Then next factor is technological innovation. So, when I say technological innovation, it is a most important part of modern large scale manufacturing. So, it involves new or modern methods of production, application of new or modern methods of production. Okay. So, softwares will be used, new apparatus, new instruments will be used in the production of that particular products. Apart from this, when I say technological innovation, it also includes the upgradation of that particular product. Like for example, you must have heard of electric bikes now, isn't it? When we were small, we had never heard of electric bike, but now this is a kind of a craze that is going on in the market. So, electric bike is a kind of technological innovation. Or the latest example will be Hyundai car. Okay. So, this Hyundai car is paired up with Android Wear app, okay, that allows the user to fulfill different commands with the help of a smart watch. Isn't it very interesting? So, these are all the latest innovations. Innovations means new idea, something that is different from others. So, apart from implementation of new machineries in the field of production techniques, the technological innovation also speaks about upgradation of the different products which are produced in the industries or the factories. So, that is about technological innovation. Next factor is uneven geographic distribution. So, when I say uneven geographic distribution, what does it mean? It means that when a industry or a factory is located or established, it should be unevenly distributed. Like for example, if one factory comes on one point, then the other factories should be away from each other. Okay? Because what will happen if same type of factories come together, their profit will be shared, market will be shared. Okay? So, as a result, when the modern large scale manufacturing is established, normally or generally they should be established away from each other, so they have maximum profit what is there. Okay. So, these are some of the characteristic features of large scale manufacturing. Let us go to the next slide. Students, there are certain factors, since we are discussing about manufacturing units or industries, there are certain factors which are responsible for the location of industries. So, let us see these factors one by one. First factor is access to market. So, what is market now? Market, we all know, market is a place where buying and selling of the goods takes place. So, market is a kind of a final destination, okay, for the industries. So, market plays a very important role in localization of industries. So, industries always are located near the place where market is available. So, that will help them to gain maximum profit. So, access to market is the first factor. Then we have access to raw material. So, raw material is a fundamental need of an industry. So, when I say raw material, it means it can be coal, iron, cotton, sugarcane, jute. Okay, these are the raw materials to different industries. So, these raw materials normally, which I have mentioned just now, they loses lots of its weight during the processing. So, as a result, normally industries are located in the place where raw materials are available easily. The example will be Tata Iron and Steel industry that is located very close to the source of raw material. Then next is access to labor supply. So, when it comes to labor supply, nobody will deny a fact if I say labor is a prior requirement of an industry. So, when an industry is set up, lots of skilled and semi-skilled laborers are required by them. Though we say the industries are automated, though we say industries are mechanized now, lots and lots of still laborers are required to perform different tasks. Okay. So, this labor or cheap availability of laborers is like a success mantra for the growth of different industries. So, labor availability is also very, very important. The next factor is access to sources of energy. So, energy is a fundamental requirement for any localization of industry. So, when I say energy, it means hydroelectricity, mineral oil or coal. So, generally the heavy industries like iron and steel, okay, these industries are located near the source of energy. So, energy also plays a very important role for localization of industries. Next factor is access to transportation. So, this entire manufacturing is actually useless if raw material does not reach to the marketplaces. And who is a medium of reaching this raw material to the marketplaces? Transportation. So, transportation and communication plays very, very important role in transporting raw material from source region to industries and finished product from industries to the market. So, transportation, when we talk again, the perishability of the goods becomes very, very important. Now, perishable goods are those goods which get spoiled very easily, like for example dairy products, meat. Okay. So, these are the products which need quick disposal of transportation. Okay. So, quick transportation is required for this. So, access to transportation and communication facility is another factor that is very, very important for industrial location. Next is government policy. So, when a large scale manufacturing industry is set up, government introduces certain regional policies, okay, and there is a kind of always this government supports the industries and there is a kind of collaboration between industries and the government. So, always government gives some rewards, government gives some incentive, financial incentives to the industries. So, industries always gets benefit from the government. So, that is something about government policies, and after all it is government is the whole and soul who decides different rules and regulations, whether industry is able should be given permission to produce certain products or whether they should carry these products. Okay. So, all these things are decided by the industries and normally by the government, and normally government always favors such kind of industries which are coming all over. So, that is government policy. Then we have something called as agglomeration economy. So, what is agglomeration economy? Agglomeration economy is nothing but it is a cluster of industries. Cluster of industry means one industry will come at one point and then around it other industries will flourish. Okay? And this minor industries will be benefited by this major industry, or this major industry will be benefited by other minor industry. So, that is something what is called as agglomeration economies. Okay. So, the cluster of economies. So, this is something about factors that influence industrial location. Let us go to the next topic. We have classification of industries, and industries are classified on the basis of different criterias. Like for example, industries are classified on the basis of size, they are classified on the basis of raw material, they are classified on the basis of output, and again they are classified on the basis of ownership. So, let us see this one by one. First criteria of classification is industries based on size. So, based on size, industries are classified as cottage or household industries, small scale industries or large scale industries. So, first is cottage or household industries. Now, the word itself tells us cottage or household. Okay. So, these industries are those industries which are working at a very minor scale, and the place of working will be within the housing limits. Okay. So, these are kind of small manufacturing units. So, the artisans or the craftsmen generally make use of local raw material which is easily available. Then he will make use of simple hand tools. Okay. So, whatever is produced in the factory, whatever is produced in the household industries, that will be consumed by their family, or the surplus share will be sold in the market. Okay. So, the artisan will make use of his own family members to perform different tasks in this particular manufacturing unit. Okay. So, these are some of the characteristics features of household industries. So, what are the example of household industry? It may be a jute making factory, or it may be a bamboo baskets making factory, or it may be a pickle factory, furniture, even synthetic say fabric actually. Okay. This may be the examples of cottage or household industry. So, next is small scale industry. Okay. Now, small scale industries are slightly bigger than the household industries. So, how to distinguish this? The small scale industries can be distinguished from household industries by the place of work. Okay. So, small scale industries are the industries where the place of work is away from the housing limits. So, this again uses local raw material which is there, simple power driven machines are used. Okay. And skilled and semi-skilled workers are also employed in small scale manufacturing. So, in our country in last few years, India, China, Brazil and even Indonesia, they are giving lots of employment opportunities by establishing this small scale manufacturing. So, what are the examples of small scale manufacturing? It may be a rice miller, he may be a rice miller, or local footwears, or pen making industries. Okay. These are the examples of small scale manufacturing. Let us go to the next, large scale manufacturing. So, large scale manufacturing, it is something which is very huge, it is something which is very large in nature. So, large scale manufacturing involves large markets, various types of raw materials are used, enormous energy is utilized, advanced technologies are there. Okay. So, these are some of the characteristic features of large scale manufacturing. So, this large scale manufacturing is again divided into traditional large scale manufacturing and high technology large scale industrial regions. So, detail about this we will be studying in upcoming slides. Okay. So, this is about large scale manufacturing. Then the second criteria of classifying industries is industries based on raw material. So, industries based on raw material, the first industry is agro based industry. So, agro based industries are those industries which are dependent on a raw material which is obtained from agriculture or agricultural fields, and that is why they are called as agro based industries. So, which are the agro based industries? Like for example, it may be a sugarcane industry, cotton industry, or silk farming, even vegetable, floriculture, beverages like tea, coffee, and jute. Jute is also a kind of a agro based industry. So, this is about agro based industry. So, next type of industry based on a raw material is mineral based industries. So, mineral based industries are those industries which depends upon mineral. Okay. So, when I say mineral, we have metallic mineral and we have non-metallic mineral. When I say again metallic, it means ferrous and non-ferrous. So, ferrous is something that has iron contained in it. So, iron and steel industries, heavy industries are examples of mineral based industries. Again, non-ferrous like copper we have, gold we have, silver we have. These are the industries again which comes under mineral based industries. So, next category is chemical based industries. Now, chemical based industries are those industries which uses natural mineral like petroleum in petrochemical industries. Okay. Then this industries also uses salt, sulfur and potash during the processing. So, this industries, chemical based industries are those industries which again uses raw material which is obtained from wood or coal. Okay. So, the best example will be synthetic, okay, or plastic, polymer, or resins, turpentine. Okay. These are the example, or even a rubber industry. These are the examples of chemical based industries. Next is forest based industries. So, the word itself tells us it is quite simple. Forest based industries are those industries which are based on forest as a raw material. So, which are the forest based industries? We have paper or pulp industry, we have a plywood industry, we have furniture industry, we have even the Ayurveda which is based on forest. So, these are the industries, medicinal medicinal factories. So, these are the industries which are based on forest. So, these are called as a forest based industry. Then we have animal based industries. It is very sad to say that we human beings for our personal greed often exploit the animals, their skins and all. Okay. So, animal based industries are those industries which are dependent on animals for different types of raw materials. So, for example, if we want a leather bag, leather industry is there. Wool, sweaters and all they are manufacturing. So, wool industries, wool textiles. We have ivory that is obtained from elephant tusk. Okay. So, the industry which are based on animals for their raw material are called as animal based industries. Let us go to the next one. We have basic industries. Now, this is the another different criteria. So, these are basic industries are based on the output or the product. Okay. Industries based on output or the product. So, first is basic industry. So, what is a base for all other industries? Iron is a base for many industries. Okay. So, iron and steel industries are called as basic industries. So, what is the example? Iron is always obtained from coal, mines. Okay. So, example of iron or basic industry will be iron and steel. So, generally basic industries are those industries which provides their raw material, their product as a raw material to some other industries. Okay. I will say it again, basic industries are those industries which provides their own product as a raw material to some other industries. An example, as I have told you, iron and steel. Iron and steel industry produces iron and it is given to the automobile industries for the further processing. Okay. So, this is about basic industry. Then we have consumer goods industries. Now, consumer goods industries are those industries which produces the products which are directly consumed or which are directly used by the consumers. Okay. So, they are consumers based consumer goods industry. So, example will be biscuits, breads, cooking oil, or even the automobiles, okay, or the phones. These are called as consumer based industry. So, this is generally something which is produced to use directly by the consumer, and that is why since consumers are directly related, they are called as consumer based industry. Next is industries based on ownership. So, this is the last classification of industries based on ownership. Okay. So, based on ownership we have public sector industry, private sector industry and joint sector industry. So, public sector industries are those industries which are owned and managed by government. Okay. So, generally iron and steel industries, heavy industries are normally owned by, even the aircraft industries are normally owned by the government. So, what are the examples? Bharat Electrical Limited, or we have Steel Authority of India. These are the examples of public sector. Then we have private sector. So, private sector is generally owned and managed by individual investors. So, these are the sectors which is governed by the individual organization or private organization. So, profit is the main aim of this private sector industries. So, in many of the capitalist countries, industries are owned privately. Okay. So, what are the examples of private sector? Reliance, which we all are aware of. Okay. Then we have Wipro, Hero Honda Motor Limited. These are the examples of private sector industries. Then we have joint sector. So, joint sector industries are owned by either joint stock companies or by public and private sector combinedly. They work hand in hand. Okay. So, this is about joint sector. The example will be Amul Milk or Maruti Suzuki. Okay. These are the example of joint sector industries. Next is traditional large scale industrial regions. Traditional large scale industrial regions are based on heavy industries and are often located near the coal fields. Such industries are engaged in smelting of iron, heavy engineering, textiles, etc. These industries are often known as smokestack industry. Now, what is smokestack? Smokestack is a kind of a chimney that is fixed on top of the factory from which lots of industrial effluents are discharged into the atmosphere. Okay. So, because of that chimney, it is called as a smokestack industry. So, generally such industries generate high proportion of employment. Okay. But the overall condition around these industries are not very positive in nature. Like for example, it supports, as I have told you, it generates lots and lots of employment, it supports densely populated regions of the world, but the people which are living, they are living in an inferior type of houses. Okay. Then unattractive climatic conditions or unattractive environments are there. Lots of heaps of waste is created, which results into again pollution, diseases, etc. Okay. Derelict land, a land that is not useful for anything, that is another common characteristic feature of traditional large scale industrial region. Okay. So, the fine example will be a Ruhr coal field of Germany. So, it has been one of the major coal field of Germany for a long period of time. So, here what happened with Ruhr coal field was there, as the time passed on, the demand for coal started reducing. So, as a result, industries were shrinking and that resulted in decay of some industrial units. Okay. So, these are some of the examples or these are some of the characteristic features of traditional large scale industrial region. Then next we have high technology industry, concept of high technology industry. So, high technology industries are those industries which uses sophisticated technology to attain a kind of a perfection level. Okay. So, this is a latest generation manufacturing activity we can say. So, lots of bulk of production is there, technological advancement is there, artificial intelligence is there. What is artificial intelligence? It is also called as machine intelligence, where machines are programmed to work. Okay. Then professional workers are there, computer aided designs are there. Okay. So, the overall it is high tech, it is modern in nature. Okay. So, there is a office cum lab setup, the industries are much neater and cleaner in space. Okay. So, these are semi-skilled workers are working, electronic control of smelting of iron, refining processes are there. Okay. These are the characteristic features of high technology industry. So, a good example will be Silicon Valley, okay, of California. Again we have a Seattle region which is said to be the technopolis of the world. So, overall these industries contribute, these are high tech industries and they contribute to the significant growth of a particular nation. Next is iron and steel industry. Okay. Now, iron and steel industries are the base for all other industries. Therefore, it is also called as basic industry and heavy industry. It is called as basic industry because it provides raw material to many other industry, that is iron. And again it is called as heavy industries because lot of bulk of raw material, bulky raw material is used, and even the products which are produced out of iron is very heavy in nature. Okay. So, normally these industries are located near the coal field. Okay. So, iron is extracted from iron ore by the process of smelting, and then it is reinforced by and strengthened by adding manganese into it. Okay. So, such industries, as I have told you, they are generally located near the coal source of raw material region. So, which are the places where we have iron and steel industry? In India, we have Durgapur, Bhilai, Rourkela and Bokaro. These are the famous places, okay, which are able to give iron and steel to different industries. Then in Asia, we have Nagasaki, Tokyo, Yokohama and Shanghai region. In world, we have Pittsburgh, which is also called as a Rust Bowl. Okay. So, what happened with Pittsburgh was that as the time passed on, the demand started reducing. So, as a result, other factories also had come up in and around. So, now it is giving, but the amount of iron that is supplied is very less. That is why it is called as a Rust Bowl now. Then we have Great Lake region, Atlantic coast region. Okay. So, if we generalize, almost all continents have their own production of iron and steel across the globe. Okay. So, that is about iron and steel industry. Then we have cotton textile industries. Now, when I say cotton textile industry, it is categorized into three categories, that is handloom, powerloom and mill sector. So, handloom is a labor intensive manufacturing unit, a small scale manufacturing unit it is. Okay. Small hand tools are used, labors are used. Okay. The scale of production is very less. So, spinning, weaving, these processes are involved in handloom. Example will be what Mahatma Gandhi has introduced, charkha. Okay. So, this is an example of handloom industry. Then we have powerloom industry. Powerloom industry is lighter, bigger than the handloom industry. So, machineries are used, semi-skilled workers are utilized, there is generation of employment opportunities. So, volume of production increases. Then we have mill sector. Mill sector is like a large scale manufacturing where huge amount of capital is invested, large machinery is used, production is very huge in nature. Okay. So, there are many industries which comes under mill sector, like we have many industries in India, we have China, we have industries in Pakistan, Uzbekistan and Egypt also. Okay. So, nowadays there is a tough kind of a competition in the market against the cotton textile industries because of the presence of synthetic fiber. Okay. So, as a result, this cotton textile industries are showing a declining trend. Okay. So, that is all about the cotton textile industries. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a blessed day ahead.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.
अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस।